From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Well, it's a bit of a bad news, good news situation for the western U.S. in terms of wildfires. Some dangerous factors will remain, while some conditions may actually aid firefighting efforts into next week, as weather conditions will be conducive to the spread of existing wildfires and the ignition of new blazes across much of the western U.S. into next week, with some of the highest fire potential days in the Northwest. Widespread drought conditions will persist as a large area of high pressure generally holds its position this week before expanding to the plains next week. AccuWeather's Brett Anderson said that same high-pressure area will lead to increasingly hot conditions with strong late-night and morning temperature inversions, which will trap wildfire smoke close to the ground, leading to widespread poor air quality and greatly reduced visibility. Widespread highs in the 90s to the low 100s are forecast over multiple states from California, Arizona, and New Mexico into eastern Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Anderson added, another piece of bad news is that he's not seeing significant rain for the next 7 to 10 days in the Northwest. Stagnant air does have some advantages for fighting fires. Anderson said that while light winds cause smoke to linger and reduce the visibility, it also greatly reduces the risk of flying embers starting new fires and lowers the potential for chaotic fire behavior. Now, in terms of new fire starts, the building heat dome and widespread dry air should mean little, if any, thunderstorms, so, the risk of natural fire starts will be lower. If more fires do start, especially away from existing blazes, they will likely be human-caused, whether intentional or not, as there will be plenty of tender, dry vegetation. Next week, the heat dome will extend from New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana into Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, and parts of Wisconsin, with some easing of the heat in the Pacific Coast states. Where the landscape is dry, the fire risk will increase. While that shifting heat dome may bring sporadic showers to the west, it could also lead to an uptick in winds and lightning strikes that could ignite new or fan existing wildfires. Now, although peak seasons vary by region, August does mark the historical peak of the wildfire season in the U.S. and Canada. The August peak in wildfire activity is driven by a couple of factors. 1, thunderstorms remain active. 2, temperatures are often near their annual peak. And 3, vegetation has had, much of late spring and summer to dry out. Thunderstorms with little or no rain, gusty winds, and lightning strikes are the main natural causes of wildfires in the West. Gusty winds can sometimes trigger fires, but they require a spark, such as from damaged power lines. Now, people are the leading cause for wildfires in the U.S., whether intentional or accidental. Common causes include arson, unattended campfires, outdoor grills, prescribed burns, vehicles, and discarded cigarettes. According to the NIFC, as of August 3rd, wildfires had burned a little more than 5 million acres across the U.S., well above the 10-year average of 3.8 million acres. Oregon alone has accounted for more than 2 million acres burned, while fires in Washington and Utah have each consumed nearly 500,000 acres. The location of many of these fires has heightened their impact, destroying scores of homes and businesses and forcing tens of thousands of people to evacuate. During September and October, shorter days, progressively cooler weather, and increasingly wet conditions typically reduce new wildfire activity across Canada and the Northwest. However, prolonged dry periods or ongoing drought during autumn can extend the wildfire season. In parts of the U.S., especially the Southwest, wildfire risk has become a year-round concern. AccuWeather's team of long-range meteorologists, led by expert Paul Pastelak, predicts that as many as 8 million acres may burn in total this year in the U.S. The risk is forecast to build in California through the end of the summer. Autumn can also be especially troublesome for the state. Thus far, less than 250,000 acres have burned in California, with end-of-year projections ranging from 0.5 to 0.75 million acres. That's all for now. You can find regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com, and for your local forecast at your fingertips 24/7, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay weather aware, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.